a newsreader. Good evening, everybody. On this lovely, sultry, warm summer's evening, which is getting ready to get Jess and Farida on. Lots and lots of you are joining in. Oh, I can hear you now.
Hi, Jess.
Good
Hi, how are
evening,
you?
girls. Yes, it's been years. I'm trying to look at you both. Yeah.
Don't look too close. Yeah, don't look too close.
Do you know the worst thing is I'm higher up. I look like a Russian newsreader. We'll just wait for more and more people joining in. Hey, Grace, I just saw you, Grace. Hi, Grace. Actually, was Grace not in one of your groups?
Yeah.
No, but we come and worked with us a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Turns out Grace is actually working with my niece, Milena, as well. It really is an incredibly small world.
Yeah.
So lots of people coming in. So number one, let's start with how are things? How are you? Jess, you were working today, and you just got back. What were you working? Can you say what you were working on?
I don't know if I can say, but it was just a daily today.
Okay.
So with two people from CBMA actually. So Alice Jones and Annabelle, but I'm not sure of her surname, who did the course a few years
Annabelle
ago.
Mac, yes.
Yeah.
Too lovely. I've been trying to get Annabelle to come and teach, but she's been holding back for now, reluctantly. And Farida, you've been tiling and working on the bathroom.
I've been working from home actually today. I'm doing an event, so
okay, organising. Right, let's begin by introducing yourselves. So fire away, you two. Who are you?
Jessie.
I'm Jessie. I live in London. I'm 41. Been doing makeup for 15 years now. Sounds like a dating story.
It's like a date, yeah, like some weird dating app we're doing. Listen, Bridgerton, right? I think I just had a quick look. 100 million views, right? Season 3, the 6th most viewed show ever on Netflix, which is, when I say for me, extraordinary. You know, season 3, you'd kind of think, I don't know, it's just something's captured it. You know, it's really just gone huge. How does it feel to have your work viewed 100 million times?
It's quite nerve-wracking. It really is. The pressure's on for the whole way through filming. You really feel it, and I don't know if that comes from other people as much as like the pressure you put on yourself, because you know that everything's going to be scrutinized. So but you kind of have to just get on with it and put it to the back of your mind. Even with posting now, we panic every time we put a post up on Instagram because you're just putting yourself out there. But it's such a long period of time that we've worked. If we don't put it out there, that's a whole year or two of our lives.
No. Yeah. I suppose you have to.
Yeah.
To a certain point. Well, I want to go to Bridgerton later, if possible, and almost kind of, before you both got to Bridgerton or whatever. Maybe Jess, do you want to start? How did the journey begin? What was it that made you want to become a hair and makeup artist?
I don't know. I at A level I did sciences and I did arts, but then I after I finished A levels I basically went down the science route for about 6 or 7 years, and then I kind of like had a change of heart and I wanted to do something creative. And I've always thought about being a makeup artist, but I didn't think it was like a real job. So, but then I looked into schools and kind of took it from there, then went to look at schools and then went to CBMA, obviously. And it kind of all snowballed from there. That's basically my journey.
It's funny how, now, when were you, Jess? How long ago when did you do the course?
15 years ago, I think.
Oh,
now.
God, 15.
Well, I would have graduated 15 years in October.
And so 15 years later, there's still that thing of, people come to look at the school, the academy, and, and they still have that same thing. I didn't realize that you could become or it's a serious profession, it's a serious job. And you'd think surely the careers advisors or someone out there will be like, you know, this is the fastest, biggest growing industry in the UK. Why don't you join it? It makes sense. But at the moment, still not. Farida, when did you, what was your journey? Why, what, who?
I did art and film and stuff at A levels, and then I did film degree. And then when I came out, because I think the training in film is quite theory based, like academically, I really didn't know what to do. So I went into a watch repairs for years, and then I knew I had to do a practical course. So you remember the watch repairs?
I remember, yes.
Yeah. And then I was actually right till the last minute. I was looking at the New York Film Academy for directing because I wanted to work in music videos. And then at the last minute, I saw a video of Chrissy, and I just thought it made sense because of my art background. I'd been saving magazine clippings of makeup for years. And then just the fact that you would have contacts, because I thought if I go to America and do a course, I'm going to be back to where I was after uni, not knowing where to go. So it just made sense that it was in the UK. You get contacts, you get set experience. That's really what sold it.
Oh, okay. That was one of my questions. I was going to say, what made you choose the world famous, wonderful, best ever academy in the world? Apart from me being here, obviously.
It was also the teachers. I think when I came to look around, the teachers all currently like worked in the film industry. So it wasn't like people that had retired or done it a few years ago. They still and still do like work in the industry, can kind of give you the up-to-date knowledge, information and stuff. And I don't think some of the other schools I looked at didn't have that. They had people that did it 10 years ago. So like, as everyone knows, in makeup, everything moves really quickly. Like you learn new things every day. Like I could go to set tomorrow and you like learn a new tip or a new trick and stuff. So it's nice to be taught by people that are like currently working in the industry too.
Well, when were you, Farida? You were before Jess.
Yeah, before Jess.
Yeah, so I mean, it really is so hard to believe 16, 15 years ago. And for me, it feels like, you know, 4 or 5 years, a handful of years, hardly anything at all. Now, we you know, I know, but I'm saying, you know, when you finished, both of you, when you finished the course, you know, well, I won't say what was it, what wasn't it. What was the journey, you know, and how did it begin, and where did it, you know, was it a straight line? Was it left and right? Was it up and down? You know, share some of that if you can.
You want to go?
You go first, Rita.
I think mine was a real roundabout route to it. And I think it's because I didn't want to move to London and I don't drive. And they're two major things that I think you have to think about if you're going into this industry. So I've found ways over time to sort of get around that. But I ended up doing events, and then later I did weddings, and then I came back. And then I would do dailies like in and out. But because you have to drive, because you're going to places in the middle of nowhere in the early morning, and if you don't have a base, I just found it hard at that time when you weren't getting paid much money to have the money to have a base in London. So it took me a little bit longer. But I think what it showed me is that that's not the only place that you can do makeup. It opened my eyes to how many makeup jobs there are available, like in different fields. And now I love those jobs. Like I love doing events. So I think everyone comes.
Oh, hello.
Have I frozen?
Oh, no, no.
Back.
I was living in Bournemouth. She's talking about not living in London. Get to London, for God's sake. But it's that, you know, it is. I know I always used to joke, Farida, you know, how frustrating it was trying to encourage you. But, you know, you were, but you know, and you still don't drive now, do you? No. But you've made it work.
Yeah.
You've made it work, and you started, you know, in events, and I think you both still do events. You both still do weddings. You know, all that kind of thing. And it's brilliant. It's that balance of different genres to do. It's not just about film. It's not just about something.
Yeah. I think you have to be open to whatever comes your way, don't you?
Yeah, because some of the events, we've like traveled the world. We've been to venues that the public can't go into. We've done like some of the most creative looks that you don't always get to do in film and TV. So you learn all these different techniques and tricks and stuff at college. But then sometimes you'll go and do a modern day thing for 10 months. But like me and Frida flew to Germany and did two 60s Barbarella aliens, like full body. Like you don't get to do that every day. So they are really cool, really creative. And I think we both get very excited every time they like pitch a new event to us.
I mean, I didn't realise, I think you mentioned South of France wedding not long ago. And I just didn't, again, in my, you know, that weddings could be huge, like entertaining events. It's not just a wedding. It's, you know, there's lots of crazy things. But it's...
You learn skill in weddings as well, that it has to look good on camera in photography, but also to the eye. And I think that's like an invaluable skill that you learn, because you want to look the bride to look good to the eye, but then you also need to make sure it looks good for camera. So it's kind of little things that we've learned across the way, and like we've taken that with us in film and TV. So it's kind of like you learn little skills doing different things as well that you wouldn't necessarily learn if you just do one type.
And dealing with brides, like I feel like dealing with actors as well, because it's such a high pressure day for them. So you kind of like learn, it kind of like set etiquette and stuff, but in a roundabout way.
Yeah.
It's, yeah, and it is, I think, you know, there could be a sense of, you know, like if you do one genre, let's say you just work on film, you know, you could get slightly stayed, I suppose. Depends on what you're doing, you know. But by doing all these different things, you're being pulled, and you've got to think in such a different way, like you've just said.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did an event in Greece at the end of May, and we had prosthetics, we had like tattoos, we had all these different things, but we had to make sure that like it was hot there, the elements, they were dancing outside, like lots of different things. So it wasn't just, oh, you need to put tattoo on them. That tattoo needs to last for 13 hours and you can't go in for any touch up. So you do really have to start thinking outside the box and stuff like that. So it has taught us a lot, hasn't it, Frida, doing that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Now, what about you, Jess? What was your sort of beginning after the academy, as it were?
So I think when I went to school, Christine Kant taught boot camp, and then she took me and Roxy as her trainee after we finished. So I did a few jobs with Christine as her trainee, and she mainly worked in comedy. And it was really good because she taught me loads of stuff about, you know, get on the tube, look at normal people, like always have a mood board. If things are realistic, they're quite funny, they're quite this. So she taught me lots of stuff like that. And then through the school, I remember that you said that someone needed trainees for secret cinema, and I took a job, and that's how I met Frida. And then I loved secret cinema. I was only there for like 2 days, but I was like, wow, this is kind of what I want to do. So then me and Frida started to work. It wasn't after the first time. We did a couple together where I just come in and help out. And then after that, we started working together. So then I did dailies, and I kept it, like we both did dailies, but we kept it to dailies so that we could do our other stuff as well in between. Like, so yeah, that was kind of my path into it.
Well, I mean, would you say, because it's the way you say it's like it was planned, or did things just happen, evolve, and it was like a natural networking because you're meeting people and you're getting on with them and that's it, you know? Or did you have some kind of structure? This is what I'm going to do.
In terms of ending up in...
yeah, or the beginning of the journey, you know, what you're both saying about, I did this and then this happened and this happened.
No, I
don't think it was planned.
Though, because I never got a trainee job basically. So from day one, my first proper job was secret cinema, and I just happened to write to them. They weren't looking for a makeup artist, and I just said their event was advertised, and I said, do you need anyone? And then they just kept me on from then. So now I've kind of had to learn on the job myself, whereas you had a bit of trainee, well, obviously like an extensive.
Yes, I did trainee on Sherlock Holmes as well, so did a few days with Chrissy as well on Sherlock Holmes too. So yeah, so I did a lot more trainee stuff, I think.
So no, there was no plan. It was just literally you from job to job, you're meeting people, and then you know,
Yeah.
someone would say, you know, I'm doing this, do you want to come along?
Yeah. And I think the best way to not try and have a plan, because I think when everyone does the course, I think it's a really popular thing. Everyone thinks they're going to go into prosthetics and film, and it's such a small amount of people that actually end up doing those specific things. And if you're open to everything, then like it will take you to places that you didn't expect.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wanted to go in doing prosthetics. I wanted to be a prosthetic makeup artist. That's what I wanted to do. I didn't want to do anything else. That was boring. And now I prefer beauty over everything.
Yeah.
I think Frida was just having a dig at you there, Jess. But it
True.
is, no, but it is that thing of, you know, I said the majority of, like, you know, and the special effects section, the 4 weeks we do with Casualty, it is great. It's exciting, it's fun, it's different, and everyone loves it. And it's like, this is what I want to do. But I think by the end of the course, it kind of, quite often it changes. I love when people say, I love the wigs. I love doing the, you know, because that's not so common. Or when someone says, actually, I want to go into theatre. And we've had many of the graduates go into theatre, and for years, you know, Kirsty, I can't think of any others at the moment, but they're there for years. You know what I mean? So it's nice when someone does something different or wants to do something different. I mean, on that sort of note, not that I'm saying that you're both very, very, very old, but social media wasn't really, if I remember 15 years ago, it wasn't that dynamic, well, I can't remember it actually 15 years ago, but you know what I mean? It wasn't a tool you could use, was it? Or am I wrong?
Was Instagram even around when we did the course? It wasn't, was it? No.
I think so. No, Facebook probably. Well, so I'm sure
Yeah,
Facebook.
Facebook definitely was, but I don't think Instagram was.
And I think in the early days, I kind of remember people sort of looking down a little bit if you posted your work when you were like in the early years on social media. And now it's like even before you've trained and stuff, like people are encouraging people to.
Now it's like your CV.
Yeah.
If you apply for jobs, they ask, have you got an Instagram? Have you got this?
Really?
Yeah, all the time. Like, especially with commercials, they ask your Instagram handle, you know, and check that out before they hire you. So it's almost like a CV nowadays.
And I like when sometimes students, well, you know, or the students about to finish, well, how will I get work? What will happen? And, you know, you explain about the onset experience and networking and talking, communication. And then so if they're sort of, oh, you know, but it's going to be hard, I'll say, but hold on. And I'm sure Chrissy won't mind me saying, but when Chrissy finished, I don't think there was even mobile phones. You know, not that I'm saying it was 1954, but it was, you know, you'd go to the phone box, you know, with your 510p, you know, but you still managed to get work. You still, you know, you put the coin in, you phoned up, you do, you know, you went around. So on one level, would you say is it easier, or is it easier to meet people?
I think it's the same, isn't it? Because
yeah,
position now, but then you've got more avenues to get in. So I guess it always evens out. It's always going to be how hard you work and how much you want it.
It's almost created its own career as well, because you get artists that just do Instagram now. Like, they can make a living out of it. They can make a career out of it, which is, you know, is great because then it's convenient for them and stuff.
Yeah.
There's a couple of some questions are coming in that I've not been focusing. Can't wait to have you on board with us, Farida. The Crown Hotel pool.
Yeah, that's a local hotel that I'm going to be working with.
Is that as bartendering? Are you both doing season 4? Someone asked.
No.
You guys are amazing. Holly Doherty. Do you remember her?
Yeah.
She says you haven't aged a day.
Oh,
She hasn't mentioned that I haven't aged a day, but I'll forgive Holly. So you started working, or you met, as it were, at the Secret Cinema for a few days, and then it just kind of built from there. Again, not planned, just kind of like you got on well those 2 days and just you went on from there, was it?
Yeah, literally worked together ever since, haven't we, Frida?
Yeah.
Do you feel hampered by each other?
No.
Every way it works out really well. I think we complement each other because Jesse's more of, I'll be honest, Jesse's more of a people person. I'm quite
don't say.
well. So she take all the phone calls and like go to the meetings and stuff like that, and I'll stay more behind the scenes, and I like more of the design aspect. So it just, and then it turned out I don't have any special hair training or anything. I literally trained at the school, but I prefer hair now and Jesse prefers makeup, but we both can still do both.
Yeah.
Works out perfectly when we work together.
Was it at the academy, Farida? Was it at the academy that that you discovered here, or was it a much slower?
I didn't realise that you needed to have hair until the course, and then on the course I was terrible. I really struggled because I just hadn't done anything in hair before. So then when I left, it was like my mission to sort of get my head around it, and so I just practiced at home and then practiced on Secret Cinema until I felt comfortable.
Well, I've got some of the notes from the tutors I'll read out about you. But I think, look, that isn't that just the you know, like I say, you've got to have commitment, you've got to want to do it, and openly sort of honest with yourself, I suppose, of what you're not good at. Did you? I mean, Jess, did you enjoy the wigs at the academy, or was it a later thing?
No, I really enjoyed the wigs, and one of the reasons that Christine Camp picked me as a trainee was because of my wig work. Because I used to like try and do something really over the top or really think outside of the box and stuff like that. So, but then I feel like as I started going into it, I still enjoy doing wigs and stuff, but I think I just enjoy doing makeup more. So it's not that I dislike wigs or dislike hair, but I just really, really enjoy doing like makeup. So, and it wasn't planned and it wasn't thought about. It just kind of is where I kind of felt most comfortable and what I feel most comfortable doing.
Are you both at the stage now where you can choose what you want to do? Or come and work on the film as hair and makeup artist, and you go, oh, I'd much rather do this or that. Are you? Can you say?
It depends on who you work with and what the job requires. I feel like some designers will ask you what you prefer, and other designers will just say this is the job, and then it's up to you if you want to take it or not. I don't think there's a choice. I think it's very important. Even though I say I prefer makeup, I still keep up with my hair. Frida still keeps up with her makeup. I think it's really important to be able to do both and not just like favor one over the other. Like we keep saying that we prefer rather than saying I only do makeup, because I think that if I was to stop doing hair, that would really limit the amount of jobs I could do, because not all jobs can split down the middle or do split down the middle.
When well, this brings us then, I suppose, to working on Bridgerton. Tell us, how were you both asked at the same time, separately? Who someone was asked first, or tell us a bit of a backstory of how. And was it Erica or who asked you to come on board?
So it was Jenny, who went to the school, Jenny Rhodes, asked us to come on board. And I think Jenny's worked with us on events and stuff, so she knows that we work really well together. She asked us pretty much at the same time, didn't she?
Yeah.
So, and then was like, you guys can like, it wasn't, oh, we're going to split hair and makeup. That wasn't discussed. It was just, do you want to come on board, do Bridgerton? And I think Bridgerton was just after COVID. So a lot of jobs like the events and stuff that we used to do had all kind of shut down, and like weddings and all of that. So it came at the perfect time for us, really.
Yeah.
And so Jenny got you on there now, and again, you've gone on the main team, crowd room.
No, we were in crowd to start with, and then we were always going to do one actress, and then it just scripts changed and things like that, and we ended up then doing the lead, and then and her sister was cast, and that was like late in prep as well, so they asked us if we would like to take her on as well. So that's how we ended up doing the two leads in season 2.
I've just it's one question's coming up because I've got to start reading questions out, shouldn't I?
He saw the greatest of all time about him, and that just completely.
Oh, well, I missed that.
I just saw it on the bottom.
Oh, what is the goat?
That's the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a compliment. Thank you. Do you find Bridgerton work was largely driven by character progression and world building? Did you ever feel pressure to create a viral makeup hair moment? Before we answer that, maybe just step back. And so you're now looking after that. So Erica's designing. Was it the first time you worked with Erica?
No.
No, we've done like a few days here and there on her other jobs through Jenny as well.
Yeah, so we did Taboo and we did Curse, didn't we, with her?
So would you say you knew how she worked or how she liked things?
No, because we only went in as dailies, so
Okay.
there was on Curse we were on main team, but we were doing stunts, but there wasn't that much interaction because her jobs are quite big usually, so she's kind of everywhere. So she'd come in, she'd say hello and stuff, but she kind of, I think Jenny gave us the brief and we worked with Jenny, and then she would just come and oversee, right?
Mm-hmm.
And had you moving into the main team, main actor, was this the first?
Yeah.
I've done main team dailies before, so I've done main actors before, but I've never done beginning to end and had. When I do main team dailies, I've had like my own characters. I've worked with Harriet before, and she always used to get me in to do dailies so I could do my other work and then just keep giving me the same character. So I've done that kind of stuff, but not anything like this before.
Daunting? Was it daunting? Was it, oh my God, or this is a job, I'm just going to carry you, just focus on that and that's it?
Well, we're lucky because there's the two of us, and then obviously Jenny brought us in too, and that was like another friend, so it felt kind of like that was the nicest way to go into it.
The team was really nice. Erica's really lovely to work for. She's like the sweetest person. She's really like a really nice designer.
And now, so then, like, did you feel, back to that question earlier, was there pressure to create a viral? Was there any? Were you allowed to have any input creatively? Let's say. Maybe I'll word it that way.
Yeah. So basically, because it is so huge and there's just so much going on, I don't know how Erica's done her past job. I think she's more involved in that sense of the designing each character. But basically, she would start off the characters, and then you go away and continue designing the looks for the rest of the season, so that she gives you like the character DNA, and then you have to go with it. Because realistically, she couldn't be sat there designing every look for a cast that big. It'd just be impossible. So we would design our looks, check with Erica, and then if we got approval from her, then she brings it up to Shondaland and stuff, and you get approval from them, and then that's how every single look is, and that's for everyone.
God, that's a lot of work, isn't it?
Yeah, and Nicola had, I was saying today to someone, Nicola had a lot of looks, didn't she, in season 3?
Yeah,
it's something like 11 a block, so like nearly 40 looks. It may not be 40, but she had a lot of looks.
That had to go through the whole process of creating, looking, doing, taking it on, looking at it, approval. Were any time were something not approved or they didn't like it?
I had one half up that they changed, like switched it a little bit to a ponytail, but I think that was it.
Yeah, but okay, that doesn't sound. I mean, it wouldn't. If they said to you, "Oh my God, I don't like that at all," change it completely. I suppose it wouldn't. That doesn't bother you, does it? Yeah, it's just.
Yeah, you can't be too precious because there's a lot of people, like, Nicola was quite involved in her looks as well. She would kind of say what she liked, what she didn't like as well. So you've kind of got to be quite fair when you're working in this type of work. Like, you need to, that there's a few people that you've got to kind of go through. It's not just, it's like a collaborative process. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually a good question from Iris. Knowing there was a transitional look in store for season 3, did you work closely with other departments to manage the journey? Was there a close relationship? I'm guessing there must be with costume and stuff and things, surely.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah, with costume, it was basically poor costume. I think they hated me. I'd be texting them every 2 minutes. Henry, what accessory is she wearing with this and things like that? Yeah, you work so closely with them. You work so closely with the standbys, and you kind of have to, because the color of the dress matters, the shape of the dress, the style. For makeup, the color mattered to me, and then for hair, Freed, it was like more like the styling of the dress. If there was the back that needed to be shown, or the material being used and things like that.
They would make accessories to match like hairstyles, or then they would let me know if an accessory has already been made, and then I would adapt the hairstyle to that. So they were really good.
And all this information is given to you. You know, going back about you're coming up with a design for the makeup and the hair. You've got you know what costume they'll be wearing and color and everything before you go and design. Obviously.
Yeah, that's how it starts. Each block you would contact a costume. It'd be a deck with all the looks from the fittings, and then you would do it based on that.
And if it wasn't finished, you'd at least get to see the material that they were using and the colors, the color palette that they were using and things like that. So I
think it's, yeah. And so this is where we always talk about, you know, communication, and, you know, when you're trying to communicate and networking to get work. But here you're in work, you've got to be you know, we always say at the academy, you know, where you be a team player, etc. But you've got to be a team player on a film, and particularly something like Bridgerton, where you know, you are, because costume could be said, I'm busy, go away, leave me alone.
Yeah.
Oh,
they never did, but you know, they could.
But they can do, and I suppose that's why the strong element is to be a nice person, you know, and communicate well and do things. Emily is asking, do you have a favourite look from season 3? Hers was the first kiss. Her skin, her skin looked luminous.
Thank you.
Favorite, either one of you?
I liked the bun made of flowers from the Innovation Ball. That was my favorite.
I've got a couple, but one of the ones I liked where they were under the willow tree. It was just like a really soft, like smoky. I did like the kiss look as well. So just I liked more of her softer, romantic-y type looks, like more watercolory type makeups.
Had you watched season 1 and 2?
I worked in crowd on season 1, so yeah, and then we did season 2, so we watched season 2 as well.
And it was important to know those 2 seasons, would you say, before, you know? Maybe that's a silly question. Yeah, you're probably right. You do sort of need to know.
Well, for this season, because when we went into season 2, it was 2 new characters, so we didn't have any point of reference. It was like everything was fresh for the 2 girls. But then for season 3, we looked back at what Jenny had done in season 2, and then also season 1 for Nicola. But then again, it was a new look. So a lot of people had sort of like a look where they made like alterations to and stuff and gave it their own twist.
Yeah, and people started evolving, but ours were pretty much, they kind of like were new look completely, because Nicola had to grow up in season 3, so she put her old look to bed. So we kind of had to kind of redo her whole kind of, you know, Erica had a new DNA for her that we then took, which then continued to change, didn't it, as the story evolved?
Yeah.
Where was that? Someone's asking, we need to know what gloss Penelope wears at the trailer promotion.
I think it was a Victoria Beckham one, so Posh Gloss, I think that's what it's called.
Posh Gloss.
Yeah.
Right, so we have asked about Erica working before, main team, and we've talked about creativity. what about so there you are in the main team. I'm guessing, are there trainees around you? Did you have trainees? Are the trainees around you? And how, I suppose that I'm asking these sort of trainee sort of questions for the would be for readers and Jessies of the new world, as it were. So were there trainees around you helping out? How good were they, etc., etc.? Tell us a bit more about, if you can, about that.
They came out. I don't think we had a trainee, did we? For most of it, it was on.
No, we had juniors, but we didn't have. In season 2, we had trainees.
Oh yeah,
because we had trainees in season 2. And in season 3, we didn't have trainees, but we were also a returning team, and everyone's apart from me and Frida and a couple of other people, we pretty much had the same characters, so we kind of knew what we were going into. And like there was a lot of, I think it's quite different to other shows. There's a lot of partnerships. So like me and Frida worked together on both of our characters that we had. So it kind of,
and then Beth and Emma and
yes,
and Grace.
so you kind of didn't need that extra hand because you had someone there, like, because everyone was trained in both. So if Frida was like, oh, Jessie, could you just do this with the wig? Or I could say to Frida, could you just put like a bit of gloss on her? We can kind of help each other out, kind of thing.
So it's literally, it's just the two of you, let's say, in the room pretty much alone, as it were.
Yeah, I think for Nicola and Simone. But we did have juniors for sure, but we didn't have a trainee. We did have trainees on the big days, like the ball days and the wedding day and things like that, because everyone was in at the same time, so it was a little bit more manic on those days.
And they
oh, sorry, Frida, go on.
And they get the breakfasts and everything and help everyone out with like small things you need them to hold stuff, and like, so it is really helpful to have them there on those days.
Yeah. And that's the day that, like, say if you've got 2 or 3 characters, they're probably all in on that day. Whereas other days you might just have one of your characters, but on ball days, you've got everyone in. So then, yeah, you do need an extra pair of hands and things like that.
How long was the job? Was that amazing work? Amazing work. How long was the job in total? The season 3, I think they're asking.
Was it June to March?
Yeah, June to March, like 8 months, I think, 8-9 months.
And the other one was season 2 was February to November.
So this is a big chunk of your life. Tell us an average day, as it were. So, and was it all morning? Start morning? Was it like not a 9 to 5, obviously, but yeah. What were the hours? The average day, long, hard, what, etc.
Best.
So in season 2, we were there a lot earlier. I think we started every day about 4 a.m. because we had 2 girls, and they were pretty much in every scene together. But then if we're just going to talk about season 3, I think we came in at about like 5:30, ready for 6. We'd get about 2 hours with Nicola, and that would include her going off to get dressed, coming back, and we do final touches. And then depending on how, because there was, Frida basically had to get wigs. They were like on a revolver. So if Frida had a wig to get ready, she would stay on the bus, and then I would go with Nicola to set and then do all the set work. But if Frida didn't have a wig to do, then we would go together. So, and then it would be like a 10-hour shoot day with, so it's like usually semi-continuous. You get like half an hour lunch, and then we'd always wrap around 6 o'clock, de-rig. Frida would sort the wig out for tomorrow. I'd clean everything, all of the brushes and everything ready for tomorrow. That's kind of like the average day, I'd say.
Gosh, what time are you leaving?
About
7:30.
That's a half-hour lunch. Is that all?
Oh, so sometimes you don't get.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to eat on the go, Pete.
Oh, I can't be doing that. Wow, that's okay. That's I suppose if it's intense and you're in there, you're not probably thinking about food and eating, I suppose. Could you, you didn't really have a trainee, as you said, but you talked about de-rigging, cleaning brushes, all these things. Would it have helped a lot? Would it have been a lot better, or would it helped a lot had you have had a trainee? I suppose it would do, possibly, but
I think I don't know. I feel like you know how you like stuff, and when you're on something that long, you just get into a routine. So I mean that on the busy days when they did come and clean your station and stuff, it was helpful. But I feel like we had enough time throughout to sort of do those things ourselves. And I have to say that because the team, everyone got along so well, people like we would get each other's lunches and breakfasts and stuff. So you didn't really need a trainee in that sense.
And Erica also doesn't like a trainee to do too much of like grabbing lunches and stuff. She likes her trainees to be really hands-on. She really likes her trainees to do characters and things like that. She wants to kind of let them, like, you know, so if a trainee was on a, like one of Erica's jobs, they may not be free to do that kind of stuff. So I think we never relied on that, because when Erica ever had a trainee and they'd actually be physically doing, you know, like setting wigs and stuff, she really wanted them to try things out and get some experience. She doesn't really like the fact that we never relied on a trainee to go and grab us a coffee, because that, you know, Erica would always have something more interesting for them to do. It would be like, yeah, cool, go do that. So
continuity, everyone does their own continuity.
Oh, okay, that's interesting, because I was going to ask. I mean, consistency, continuity in looks and reshoots. Someone was asking. Was that, how did you manage that? Iris is asking, or you just did?
All in there. I know like every scene, like the back of my hand. Frida would be like, "What's this?" And I'd be like, "This is this scene, Frida." Yeah. No, I think I'd started off doing a breakdown, and literally like when I like copy paste read, it really sticks in my brain. But we had a huge folder. We've got millions of pictures on our phones. We got pictures of every angle. Like every time she moved, we'd get a picture. I was that person on the iPad that would just be like that, and everyone would be like, "Why are you taking so many pictures?" Like, we need them.
Yeah.
So.
But I think that's the kind of great thing. You know, here we are 15, 16 years later, you know, you're doing, I say you're doing your own continuity, and that would be possibly in a crowd or wherever a trainee/junior job to do. But I think, again, you're controlling, you know, it's done. You know what I mean? It's, you know, you're taking loads of pictures, you know the continuity, you know exactly what that look's going to happen to do tomorrow.
Yeah.
So you don't have to rely on anyone, I suppose. I think it's good. I mean, Erica, it's nice that Erica, you know, gets the trainees, and I think it depends on the designer or crowd supervisor of how much a trainee can do. You mentioned Christine Can. I think Erica actually used to work with Christine Can. Yeah. I remember years back, Erica coming, I think, to the academy. Christine Can as well. If I remember, she would throw you in deep. Yeah. You know,
she'd make you cut her hair. If anyone knows her, she's got a white, very blunt bob, and you can see any mistake in that, and that would be her little, "Just give me a haircut quickly." It'd be like,
scary.
Yeah, she really liked in a particular way her red lips.
I saw her about 6 months ago up in Glasgow, and looks exactly, do you know what I mean? Big, bright, strong, red lips, short, bleach blonde, white, almost bob. Hasn't changed at all.
I love the fact that she hasn't changed. I've spoken to her, but I haven't, because she's moved back to Scotland. I haven't seen her in a while.
Yeah. But she's working. She's doing really well up there. Well, not doing well up there. It's silly to say. She's incredible makeup designer. But she would, you know, I remember, you know, people would go, "Oh my God, you know, she's asked me to be a trainee. I'm nervous." And no, don't. I said, it is going to be nerve-wracking, because she's going to make you do, you know, work.
Yeah.
You know, makeup, hair, this, and you got to think fast and do.
Yeah, I think you learn a lot more doing. You learn kind of, you can then feel like you can ask questions and stuff like that. I think it's a nice way of being able to test the water, seeing if you enjoy it. Because if you're doing 6 jobs where you're just getting teas and coffees and doing that kind of stuff and not actually physically working on anyone or doing anything, you don't know until you've actually started doing that if it's for you or not. So
yeah, and I think even though it's daunting, I think it's the you know, a great way to well, experience, like you say, and see what it's like. What does the future hold for you both?
we haven't got that far, have we, Frida?
I mean, is there a possible bigger project coming up, or how about this question? One of you gets, an offer of a I don't know why I say James Bond, but you know what I mean. One of you's offered James Bond main team, and the other one hasn't. Won't bother you, will it?
No, well, at the moment, Jesse's, we're working separately until Christmas because Jesse's main team on a TV show, and then I'm designing 2 events. So we go off and do our own stuff, and then we come back. But the ideal thing that we want to do is to eventually design together. So, I mean,
wow. Do you think you can handle her controllingness, Jess?
Hey, Frida. I'm the controlling one. No, I'm joking. I'm not. No, we work together so well. We kind of want to figure out a way to kind of like take that to the next level. We haven't like foolproofed a plan, and like in our whole career, we haven't really planned. It kind of like we've kind of gone along and stuff like that. So that's kind of what we hope to do, but we'll kind of see what happens. Yeah, it might change. We might fall out tomorrow, Pete.
No, don't be silly. I think, but there are. I mean, if we look at America, for argument's sake, where it's a hair designer and a makeup designer, so the double act in America is actually how it's done. Yeah. So I don't know. I can't think of anyone in England, but I'm sure they well, of course. I think even Chrissy's worked as a hair designer and someone's done the been a makeup designer. So it happens all the time on films, or many times.
Yeah,
so
there's a couple of people that have like teamed up, and it doesn't necessarily mean like I like co-designs. It could even be the fact that Frida's designing, I'm supervising. We kind of just want to find a path.
We blend them together so that we're doing like what we basically do on our events, but in a different like setting.
Yeah, that's a wonderful way of saying it, Farida. And I suppose the title really is irrelevant because we're designing this whole look, and if I'm called that and that, it's the design element. When you're designing an event, I mean, can you compare it to a film? I know we touched on it earlier, but is there? Yeah, what would you say is the difference, or there isn't?
The difference is things like continuity, because obviously you don't have that hanging over your head like to keep an eye on. But a lot of the other things like the calls, like the looks, like working with other departments and things like that is the same, and building teams and stuff. So I feel like we've got a lot of skills from doing that.
Yeah, and I think that it's similar in a way to the fact that me and Frida do quite a lot of high-end events, so they're not like the budgets are big, and the people that are attending are like millionaires, billionaires. They expect like a good product. They don't want anything wishy-washy or done quickly. We get the appropriate times, what we need, and they want a product that is good as like that could be shot on camera. So I feel like
we have like videos of a lot of our stuff, so they'll bring in things like we had the videographer for Mario Testino do most of the videos for an event company that we work for. So it's like it is high-end stuff like for events.
Yeah, and big, like we can't say what clients, but big celebrity clients. So it's kind of like they know about hair and makeup and stuff. So you're kind of, it's not something you can just be like, oh yeah, I'll just go and like pop in a synthetic wig on. Like they want something really out there, really like no one's ever seen before. That's kind of what they're paying for.
I mean, I actually think it's probably an event. It's probably more intense because it's a day, and it's got to be perfect now. You know what I mean? They can't, during an event, they can't say, cut, stop, no, hold on. This isn't what I want. It's too late. You got one chance to make this event brilliant. So it's probably harder than designing a film, I would say.
You get less time to prep and plan. Like you do get less time, don't you? And things change constantly because you've got a client rather than a director or a producer, and the client can literally turn around and say, actually I want it all to be blue tomorrow, and you have to do what the client says. So it's hard in that sense. you know, the client. But at the same time, it's so much fun, and I don't think we'd ever stop doing them, would we?
No.
No.
It's quite. It sounds just the way you're talking about it. It sounds really quite scary, or stressful. Far more stressful than
I
Bridgerton.
think it's going back to the communication level. Like, they will listen if you say, "Oh, well, that's not possible," or "This will look better." They do kind of do, like, they are hiring you. You know, they've seen your work, they've seen what you can do. So people do generally, if we communicate well enough, they do generally respond in a positive manner. Like, okay, this is your department. We trust what you're saying. So,
But I do have to say, I do think that the skills, I'm not just bringing it round because we're talking to you, but the skills that we learned and how you present yourself and how you deal with people and everything like that we got at the school is transferable into like all other jobs, and it has like served us well, because
yeah, it really has.
we've gone into things like weddings. They've The way we've organized them and things like that, people have come back with the feedback of like how happy they were, and like that it was like so great, and they've been to like this many and it wasn't done like this. So I just think it's having those
But I think it's coming to the. I know we sort of talking about the academy now, but coming to the academy and you're learning, and we always say from day one, this is what you need to learn to know. Christy saying all the things that Christy would say, all the tutors, and you meant Christine Kant that was coming to teach. All of them are saying, if you listen to what all the things all the tutors and Christy says, it, like you say, 15, 16 years later, it's all making sense still. It's all relevant.
yeah.
It wasn't just kind of, not a waste of time. Of course it wasn't, but, relevant, I suppose, is to listen. We talk about communication, it's listening is equally important. Have some more questions very quickly. I do apologize. Have most people you've worked for been very supportive and understanding, especially when you were freshly new as a makeup artist?
Some you're always, no matter what line of work you go into, you're going to have good experiences and bad ones. But I think the thing is, to what I've realized now working for Erica, is that if you just keep going, don't get put off by like one bad experience, because that can happen to anyone. Someone could just be having an off day and you like run into them at the wrong time. So I think if you just keep at it, you will find people that you work well with and you get on with, and stuff like that, and then it will feel comfortable. So I think there's a lot of really nice designers and supervisors. More, I feel like there's more so now, because younger people have like moved up the ranks and they remember how it felt and stuff, and there's more thought for people's lives outside of work. It's not just that thing of, oh, you should be so grateful to have this job. So if they actually, like, people consider people's circumstances, and I think more. Do you?
Yeah, I agree. And I also, you hear a lot, like, is the job down to personality? Me and Frida are quite quiet people. In a big room, I'm quite quiet. I find it really like anxiety driven when like you're in a huge crowd room, there's a lot of people. I'll talk to a couple of people I know, but I'm not the loudest person in the room and stuff. And I feel like there's a lot of people find that they feel like a lot of the jobs are down to personality. But I really feel like it's your skill set. I've always kind of just got on and worked a little bit harder, learned a few more things and stuff like that. And it just takes one person to see, and then they're like, oh, great, you can do all of this stuff. So I think that, that whole debate as well, like, you'll find your people and your working rooms, and you'll find more than like one person that you click with and kind of just go in that vein. I think we've learned now, being a bit older, that we'd only work with people that we gel with, rather than, oh, it's a job, I really need this job, I'm going to do it. I won't work in a bad environment, because it's just too damaging. If we did Bridgerton like for 10 months and it's like not a good environment, it's too much to get over. So, for us, luckily, it was such a nice job with such a nice designer, such a great team, and everyone supports everyone so much. Even afterwards, we're always texting each other saying, oh, your look was amazing, when they posted something. It's like a really nice, like, team. And you don't have to be the loudest in the room or the one that's.
I think you made some very good points there, and it's looking back on both of your journeys, as a whatever the hell I am, it was a kind of a gentle, a walk. You were both kind of walking, and I always felt that you would get there. I mean, both of you were pretty useless as students during the course, which Farida just said already. No, I'm joking. But it was kind of, and it's that determination. Both of you shy rather than outgoing, let's say, but that didn't hamper. Do you know what I mean? Not leaving the academy and jumping straight on Star Wars that quite a few do. So it was a kind of methodical way, and here we are 15, 16 years later, not Bridgerton 3, but happy. Do you know what I mean? Doing work, choosing what I want to do, doing events still with Bridgerton 3, with this, with that. It's been a wonderful sort of journey. Well, so far it's been a wonderful journey. And I think when you said about designing the period, I think that will be absolutely brilliant. And hope there's any producers listening to us at the moment. You know where to find the girls. I think it is a great thing. And even though you didn't have a plan, you've you've done brilliantly well, both of you. So well done. Have you had dinner yet, you two?
Yeah.
No.
So, 4 a.m. this morning.
Oh, okay.
Going.
Well, we'll just one last question. Have you worked with an actor that has allergies to cosmetic ingredients, i.e., propylene glycol? Should they come to set equipped with their own kit of products? Do you ask an actor, does he have allergies, and has he got his own makeup? Her makeup.
We do fittings, so we'll find out about allergies and stuff in fittings. We'll never ask anyone to bring their own makeup. If they recommend a product that works for them, it will usually get bought on the budget, but no one will have to kind of like provide their own makeup if they've got allergies and stuff. But there is a thorough, we go through a lot of things before we get to like shooting, because we have prep. So in prep, we'll kind of go through all of that kind of stuff to see if anyone's got allergies or anything like that.
Well, listen, let Jess, we'll say goodbye so Jess can go and have some dinner.
Thanks.
Lovely to see you both. I've been seeing Jess. Farida, I haven't seen you for 1,000 years. We're having dinner, so you've got to, unless we go down to Poole, Jess, have you any decent restaurants down there?
She doesn't live in Poole, but...
Oh, what was the hotel? Why are you working in Hotel Poole then?
Nearby, it's nearby.
Well, nearby, surely. Look, well,
very welcome.
We've put the word out for Hotel Poole, so I reckon dinner for 3 on Hotel Poole is in. Otherwise, because she ain't going to come up, Jess, you know that. It's going to take another 1.5 years for her to come to London.
I see her all the time.
Well, she comes to London.
No, I'm going to Winchester on Saturday to see her. So yeah.
And I'm not invited to Winchester. Oh, Winchester Cathedral, that'll be nice.
We're actually seeing another CBMA graduate on Saturday, Nikki Springle.
Oh, Nikki, do send her my love.
Oh.
She was another one, that nice, lovely, that sort of, she had ups and downs and things, but she's done so well. She was very talented to begin with. Listen, thank you so much for sharing the stories and things. I hope people have enjoyed it. I have. Lots and lots of love to you both. But yes, dinner is on me. I've said that ages ago. So
dinner's never going to happen then, is it?
No, I mean, listen, we're going down to Hotel Poole. If we don't come up, we're going down there.
Okay.
A weekend in Poole.
Okay, great.
Lots and lots of love to you both, yeah?
Okay, thank you so much.
Bye. Take care. Bye. Bye-bye.